Dear all, as the spokeswoman of the group of Socialists and Democrats in the European Parliament on the issue of employment and social affairs, I have been following the rise of social dumping in the aviation sector since I started working in the Parliament back in the year 2009. Air crews have a rather high standing in our society yet. What most people do not see is a ruthless competition between airlines in the low-cost sector, resulting in unfair competition on the back of all our aviation sectors. We are living in an age of open skies policies that have led to a wide market under the premise of cheap labor. Airlines from other parts of the world are pushing into the European market, some of which are greatly state subsidized. We have uniform levels of safety rules on board, but we do not have a coordinated European labor market ensuring social protection and workers' rights. This is a central issue when we talk about social dumping, not only in the aviation sector. But we have been witness to a race to the bottom that has taken on completely absurd forms. Who would have thought that there are low-cost carriers that offer their pilots pay-to-fly contracts in order to get flying experience on certain aircraft types? Please note, this is after they have received their license. It might be that on your way to London, you paid less money for the flight ticket than the pilot steering the airplane. Pay-to-fly schemes are just one example of the inventiveness when it comes to undermine social rights in order to make a profit. But this is just the latest example of a long list. Pay for training, pay for uniforms, 0-hour contracts, you name it. Needless to say that this development poses a great risk with regard to the safety chain in aviation. If you have to pay for your flying hours, for your training, for your uniform, if you are hired through an employment agency, poorly paid and with job instability, then the financial pressure will make you report for duty even if you are not physically or mentally fit to do so. Those exploitative terms and conditions for aviation workers are just the tip of the iceberg. We are looking at business models that made companies like Ryanair make its annual profits jump close to 900 million euro. If I take a look at the numbers indicated in a recent study on atypical aircraft employment in aviation, 66% of the pilots flying for Ryanair have an atypical contract. The company claims that their profits are because of low fuel prices, but that is only one side of the coin. The truth is called bogus self-employment and working conditions pretty close to slavery, both in the ground and in the air. That was made possible by a new and dangerous business model, flag for convenience, the latest kind of social engineering to avoid social security expenses and taxes. The clear example of this is Norwegian Airline International. While Norwegian in origin and ownership already operates as an Irish carrier, its aircraft are employed on individual employment contracts with a Singaporean hiring agency and based in Thailand. Norwegian Airlines International has never indicated any plans for any flights operation into or out of Ireland. The clear purpose is to avoid the application of Norway's legitimate labor, social and tax laws and to evade existing collective bargaining agreements. In other words, Norwegian Airline International develops social dumping. Needless to say that there is no place for trade unions and worker participation within this kind of deception. So, what to do with this? Let me say it straight. There is no one simple solution in these large-scale problems, as there is not one single legislation dealing with the aviation sector. The problems are diverse, and so far the ways they have to be tackled. It is good to take a look at what has been achieved in the maritime sector with the involvement of the trade unions. But their valuable work is literally just a drop in the ocean without a European legislative basis to protect transport workers from mistreatment and exploitation. The European Commission just announced the presentation of an aviation package and a labour mobility package by the end of this year. We need to close existing loopholes to ensure fair competition in compliance with national labour laws and to improve the coordination of EU social security systems and to promote direct employment. Therefore, the Socialists and Democrats are ready to put pressure on the Commission to revise the regulation on social security coordination, temporary working agency work, and to push for the involvement of social partners. There is no doubt about it. We have to rework European air transport regulation now. Thank you for your attention, and I wish you a really fruitful discussion today at your conference. Thank you and goodbye.